Hello, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Bryant, and this is Comic Channel Origins on the I Have Comic Issues channel. And today we have Collecting with Derrz here, and we're going to talk to him about how he started his YouTube channel and everything, and his process, any tips, tricks, and things like that. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. We will get to them. And I even asked some questions over on Instagram, and got some interesting questions there that I'll be asking Derrz a little bit later, maybe in a lightning round or something like that, because there's a few of them.
Excited.
All right. Derrz, anything you want to say before we get started?
Yeah, just like we were talking about backstage, I always start off with anybody that has me on their channel. Time is the most valuable resource to me, especially in the business and industry and just everything I got going on anymore. So anytime anybody has me on their channel or reaches out to me for anything, questions, tips, or just hanging out, just honored, thank you, and just appreciate for anybody watching, anybody hanging out in the live chat, and to you, man. So appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's get into the reason why we're all here, and that's to learn about your comic channel origins and that. So what inspired you to start your comic book YouTube channel, and what was your very first video?
So I collected. I'm 35, and I was born in born in 1990, and I collected comics up until like I was 12 or 13, and then I still followed everything comics and everything like that. But I just didn't buy any. I didn't read anything. I still was, following what's going on. And it wasn't until like 2018 that I bought my first comic again, and it was just a snowball of effects from there. And I was actually posting. There's a comic book corner 2.0. It's a Facebook group, and I don't even use Facebook anymore. And I was posting, my hauls and little clips and things like that. And you might know him from the community, Scott Vaughn, S Vaughn 82. Mm-hmm. He actually linked up with me, started talking to me and reaching out to me on Facebook, and we, made a friendship, all that kind of stuff. And he's the one that was like, hey man, I'm in a huge community, all this kind of stuff. I know this person, this person, this person, you should just make a channel and upload it. And that's how I actually found everybody. It was through Scotty. And then I'm pretty sure the first live stream I was in was Brian LCS, one of the comic book community awards. I think it was the first year. So everybody I could see and everything. And it was just crazy seeing that. And then I finally posted my first like 2 or 3 videos. And I had no idea that you were supposed to record in horizontal. So they were vertical. Okay. And this was before YouTube, allowed vertical videos. So my first like 2 or 3 videos are in vertical format with black on the sides, and it's just me showing off my haul, and that's basically kind of where it started. But then my actual first YouTube video was I used to be a huge Funko Pop collector, and selling hundreds and thousands of those Funko Pops is what funded my hobby to get back into comic books.
Right.
So it's literally like stores just open. It was like, I think the first week that stores opened up after COVID and everything, like from the pandemic. And I went out on a Funko Pop hunt. So that was like my first true video. So
okay. And I don't know if you saw this, but Dave from Still Only 35 Cents says
my man. Yes, sir. Great dude.
Oh yeah. He was a past guest on the show.
Nice.
A couple weekends ago. And my guest next week is actually going to be Brian LCS.
Nice. So, there you go. Full circle, baby.
Yeah, it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon right here. I mean,
agreed.
Was there a specific moment or video where you felt like your channel really took off?
So like I'm just under like 5,000 subs, and we'll get into like numbers and things like that, and you'll see my perspective. But I don't think taking off is not really the word for it. I'm a huge gamer. That's why my channel is called Collecting With Derrz. That way it's not just, if it has comics, a lot of people have like comics in their title. It helps with the algorithm and things, but then that kind of pigeonholes you into one category. So you can't really show anything. So when I made collecting, I basically gave myself the freedom to show whatever I want. And one of my shorts is, I love doing short content because it's an easy way to show off things that I got, quick, easy, fun. And I think it's like WWE 20, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And if you're a wrestling fan, Rikishi, he did the stink face to everybody back in the day. And It was me doing that in the game with some audio. And it's got like, I don't know, like 500, 600,000 views or something like that, or something crazy. It's like, it's insane. It's insane. So like, that's my most watched like short or anything. But as of like taking off, like my content kind of just comes and goes. Like my vlog content when I go to cons, those always perform the best. But the best and my favorite kind of stuff is the things I'm doing now with my Friday videos. Just talking comics, showing off things, and
Right.
talking about what I love.
Okay. I know one type of video that I've seen in my analytics that seems to be working very well is I've done some, I guess, talking about the numbers of selling comics on Whatnot.
Yeah.
But I know that you sell for RUP,
Yes. Yes.
and I know that because you're an employee, you can't give his numbers. But I'm sure something that would be interesting or an idea for future videos for you would be talking to people about the how to and the pros and cons of Whatnot selling for comic books.
That's it's interesting you say that because it's actually a video I've planned after New York Comic Con. And
Okay.
that's one of the things, like especially like with eBay and whatnot, there's a lot of how-to videos, but there's not a lot of how-to videos when it comes to like the comic category.
Right.
So if you're setting up a show and doing things behind the scenes and looking at all the tech stuff, it's a lot. It's a lot. People don't really understand what it is, putting a comic book in front of a camera and selling it. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and there's not enough like tutorial videos and things like that. So that's something I've already been brainstorming and working on. So I'm going to start filming that after New York Comic Con.
I just recently crossed the threshold on Whatnot of the over 1,000 items sold, and
Nice.
that's thanks to my wife because I had her while I was doing my regular job. She was
Hmm.
selling dollar comics and just
Awesome.
knocked out about the 400 I needed to get over the
Hmm.
1,000.
That's
She
the
knocked that out for me in a couple of days.
that's one of the big milestones, and like without my girlfriend Taylor, it would be impossible because she sits right next to me. She sorts everything, writes all the names, and I think we do, like I said, we're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And just in the past year since I've started it, we're coming up on, oh, I think it was like 30 or 40,000 items sold. And
Okay.
then I think we're like 200 followers away from 10,000. So
Okay.
mhm.
Nice. And that's on the RUP channel, correct?
Yes, yes. So for relevance, I live in the same town. That was actually my LCS for years and years and years. So I've known him for a long time. We are actually the art reps for Alex Ross, Bill Sienkiewicz. So if you ever see the San Diego Comic Con Alex Ross booth, that's at our warehouse. All the original paintings, all that stuff. Chris, my boss, actually drives to Chicago every few days or like once every other week, hangs out with Alex, gets everything signed, and then we also partner with Aspen. And we just happened to live in the same town. So it just kind
Okay.
of was like a snowball of effects where everything just kind of clicked.
Oh yeah, so that's not a terribly, I guess, not a terribly long drive from Ohio, where you are in Ohio to Chicago, is it?
Oh, so he makes that drive. I think it's like 9 hours, nine
Oh,
nine
okay.
hours like that. Yeah, but Alex doesn't make any public appearances. So the only way to get things like that are through us, through Sal Abenetti, or through the direct like Alex Ross website. So
Okay. All right. We have the comment
hey,
or the moderator for everybody, Christina
hey,
Payne. Welcome in,
how you
Christina.
doing?
All right. Now, I guess since you did say your channel was collecting with Durrs and you have a wider variety than just comic books, or
Yes.
you did when you started, um, would you say that you have a niche in the comic book community, or has it evolved over time, or do you think you're kind of more just a general collecting channel?
So for me, my biggest thing with like what I upload and everything, I upload what I want to upload. Like whatever's fun to me, whatever's interesting to me. If it's going to, my biggest thing is if it can, appreciate you, fam. If one person watches my videos and takes it away, if my video could get 10 views or 10,000 views, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not monetized. I'm not in it for the money. I've never been in it for the money. And I always just do what's fun for me. So I post a lot of video game content, like the new Magic the Gathering Spider-Man set, I went all in. I got a couple booster boxes. I got a couple things like that. I've done some like pack rips with Invincible and things like that. So I'm a big card collector. You can see I have a bunch of like statues and toys in the back.
Right.
So just kind of whatever's going on in my life is what I kind of document. And for me, YouTube is just kind of like a virtual diary. So those videos, those things like that will always be there. And then when my son, anybody, 15, 20, 30, 100 years from now, if YouTube's still around, those videos are still going to exist and I'm not. So that's kind of how I look at things.
Well, they can take all that and make it into the Durr's AI, like they just did, like they're
Oh,
doing with Stan Lee at the LA Comic
really?
Con.
Yeah, AI is out of control in my
Have you
opinion.
have you heard about the Stan Lee AI that they're doing, or the AI
No.
experience?
Is it like the how like the Disney does their like kind of like their I think they did had the Walt Disney in one of their plays. He's like a hologram or something like that with like
Yeah,
AI talking and everything. Okay.
yeah, they're supposed to have a Stan Lee experience booth at the LA Comic Con.
I'd be 100% down for that because in my lifetime I never had the chance. Like I got to meet Todd McFarlane at San Diego Comic Con, got to hang out with him for like 10 or
Yeah,
15 minutes alone.
just a little warning. I do have some questions from Cliff on
Okay.
Instagram about you meeting Stan Lee. We'll get to
Okay.
that a little bit later.
Perfect, perfect. But like the Stanley experience, like I wasn't collecting, I wasn't into the hobby as heavily as I am now. So I never had the opportunity to, meet him, even be around him or
Right.
experience something like that. So yes and no, I can see how that, making money, milking his legacy and all that. They've already got enough money out of that man, in my opinion,
Yeah.
anyway. But for somebody like me or like, new kids or younger kids that never had that experience, I think that's great. So
And my most experience with Stan Lee has been watching the Marvel movies.
same,
Yeah.
same. That's the closest I ever got to. And I skipped the I don't like watching like the documentaries and things like that with them. So I skipped all that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That especially how things were for him later in life, it could be a little bit depressing.
Agreed.
Yeah. So what comic book content has performed best on your channel, and why do you think it is?
Easily the best, like the comic book content that performs best on my channel is the random shorts. Shorts are always great, but that doesn't really amount to anything because it's just shorts fuel. Anybody can scroll through that and things like that. But the ones that perform the best and get the traction is like me going to cons, Heroes Con, San Diego, New York, MegaCon, whatever it may be. Walking around, showing off the cons, to me, that's the funnest content. I love
Right.
just walking around a con and filming, things like that. And then people also love to do that because at the end of the day, it is very expensive to travel, go to a convention and all that. And if you can save a little bit of money and watch somebody like that and not have to pay and do all that, and I try and give the ins and the outs of like what's best, where I'm staying, where I'm parking, things like that to try and help anybody that might, stumble upon it in a year or two and then maybe they want to go to that convention or want to go to that area. So
Right.
that's kind of the theme I go for. But the vlog and the convention content by far are the ones that always do the best.
Okay. Uh, yeah, you're not the first person on this show that's said that. Like, Chris, the comic vet.
Hmm.
Yeah, he said some of his best videos have been when he's gone to like the Fan Expo Canada and things like that, and his
Dude,
Heroes Con
I
tour.
love watching that stuff as well. I watch all kinds of videos of like conventions and stuff that I don't get to go to. So especially like overseas conventions in Canada and like Luca Comics and Games in Italy. So those are the ones that I love watching.
Oh yeah, and like Dave with still only 35 cents. He said since he gets to travel the world a lot with his
Yes.
job, he goes to a lot of really cool
Hmm.
comic book shops. I know he did one in I think British Columbia, where it was
Nice.
like one comic book shop that was a vintage store was literally right next to the modern comic book shop, so you could
Hmm.
just
That's cool.
basically pick
I
your
like that.
flavor. You want new
Hmm.
or you want old, and
Yeah, I
you
dig
go.
that.
So so that was pretty cool. Um, so I get you kind of have already answered this, but you can tell me we can go into it a little bit deeper. Do you give any thought to the algorithm? I mean, do you make anything to kind of target the algorithm, or you just make what you love?
For the first, like, I don't know, man, for the first like 6 months, something like that, I was obsessed with it. And I know a lot of people can be that, chasing those numbers. I've watched for somebody that says they don't care about, like, I don't care about numbers, I don't care about the algorithm anymore. But for somebody that doesn't, I've done so much research and I follow so many people and things like that. There's a ton of good YouTube content out there that will tell you like tips and tricks to how to do it without, caring about, how big or how successful they are. They're not, getting you to hype something up or do something to capitalize on a trend. This is what works. They experiment for a year, give you the results. So I used to watch that content all the time and would just chase those numbers. When I first started, oh, you got to be consistent. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you got to have that live stream. The live stream really helps get the numbers, your watch time numbers up and everything. And after a while, I just said, I don't care anymore. Like, I just completely stopped caring. I just uploaded when I wanted. It took so much stress off of me. If I miss a video, oh, I don't film a video. I don't have a video filmed for Monday. It doesn't matter. Now I
Right.
can film it and upload it Tuesday. Yeah, sure, my views might be down and everything like that, but it was never my goal when it comes to like YouTube and things like that. And I know one of your questions is, I don't want to answer it early, but advice I
Go
always
ahead.
advice I always give to people when you're like starting a channel or like setting up a YouTube channel, there's always a goal in mind. Do you want to, go viral? Do you want to be monetized? Do you want to make friends? Do you want to make connections? Do you want to be in the industry? Like, pick one of those paths and then go off that path. You can't really do all of it. And that's how I kind of treated everything. And now I work full time in the industry. I get to hang out with some of the biggest artists. I get to meet people. I get to travel the world and the country and things like that because I went, for connections and friendships and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to live in the industry and not just, go viral for one or two videos. So that's kind of been my mindset always.
Well, that's cool. Um, well, I know we talked, or I think it might have been in the backstage part of it, but have you made any mistakes early on that you wish that somebody had warned you about?
Yes, I didn't know, like, so like I never even realized that like hashtags were a huge thing for months and months and months and months and months. Like even though I use social media like a fiend, I never knew like how big hashtags were, or if you go into like your added description. I had my videos in like literature or some like you should always have your videos in the entertainment category because that's like the broad spectrum or whatever,
Right.
but I think I had mine in like the literature or something like that. So it was pigeonholing my videos for months and months and months and not even like referring my content. And then
Right.
I never knew you were supposed to put like tags or like a description. So like most of my videos for the first like few months have like no description, no nothing. And then the biggest thing I can tell anybody for anything is if you record a video, always watch it back before you upload it. 100% watch the entire video back before you upload it because there's many times where you think you might have edited something out and you never edited that out and it could be super embarrassing. Like I'm pretty sure I remember one video that I stopped and I had like a hiccup attack or whatever. Like I got burpy and got like hiccups like in the middle of the video, so I like paused it and I never edited it out, so it was like 2 minutes of me just like having the hiccups in the video. And I just left it because I don't have much shame. So like if something like that happens, you just go with it. I just left it in.
But I mean, if it really mattered that DJ Link said burp gate.
Dude, facts, man. So like seriously, and I think honestly, DJ or like Mark or somebody like that early on was always I forget who it was, but they said always watch your videos back. And it took me months and months and months of never watching all my videos back to finally watch one of my videos back. And then I was
But
like, oh,
I think with one of the new features that's coming out pretty soon on YouTube, you can probably go
mhm.
back to that video and take that spot and turn it into a short. So you get
Oh,
that
maybe remix it, put some music in it, speed it up, slow it down. That's a
it
good
could be the
idea.
burp gate short.
Oh, facts, man. I'm down for that.
I mean, that is something that's supposed to be coming out here soon. Is where it can YouTube in itself, uh,
Hmm.
or baked into YouTube, will allow you to take your long form videos and it will go get the highlights and can convert it into shorts for you.
I forget what website it is off the top of my head, but there's multiple websites that do that currently. That if
Right.
you want to take your long form, but it's it's not it's not accurate. Like everything they like produce is nothing I ever want. I would rather just go in and edit it myself. Yeah, it
Right.
takes a couple minutes longer, but it's what I want. So that's just how I always do it. So I recommend taking long form videos and turning them into shorts because repurposing content, but it's something I just never do.
Right. No, I just like if you ever used, I think Opus Clip
Mhm.
is the most
That's what it
popular
is.
one.
Opus Clip. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Depending
Yes.
on how well YouTube does with their product, it could give Opus Clip a run for the money since it'll be
Agreed.
baked in as a free aspect of YouTube.
Right. Instead of having to go off site and all that.
Yeah, it'll just be right in there.
Agreed.
Um, and the other one I think you mentioned that you didn't just mention, the mistake you said was recording in vertical when you started YouTube was horizontal.
Yep. And that was before, and now it doesn't matter because you can record vertical and YouTube pushes the vertical stuff. Like
Right.
they encourage you to be vertical, but that means your whole channel needs to be vertical always. You can't really go back and forth. You need to pick and choose. But back in the beginning, I didn't know. Like I didn't even know, and I was just recording in vertical. So vertical didn't exist. So my first like 10 videos are like in vertical and they have like the black on the side and everything.
I think they're also doing something where when the new features are going to have it where you can live stream on YouTube to both horizontal and vertical at the same time. It'll go one to
Oh, that's
your full
nice.
speed.
That is that.
Don't know how exactly it'll work. Don't know how it'll work with people using third-party
Right.
uh, software like this, such as Restream or StreamYard or
Mhm.
something like that. So be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is interesting.
Metal Elf said hello.
What's up, fam?
All right. So what is your process for planning and producing a video from idea to upload?
Man, we'll go with what it is now, and then we'll go with what it is, what it used to be. What it is now is just hit press, record, and film it. That's the no process, no nothing. If I get a package in, if I get something in, I just film it just because it's cool. If it's cool to me, I want to upload it. It might be cool to somebody else. If I'm reading a good book, I want to upload that and talk about it or something. Somebody might film, if somebody learns something from it, that's the most important thing. But back in the day, when I first started my channel, it was painstaking. I had to make sure I had a video series, a Monday mail call or like a Wednesday new comic book day or like a Friday. I was doing a Friday positivity where for about 2 years, every Friday would be a quick little premiere. And I would just talk about mental health. It wouldn't be, how my week was going, what was going on in the world. And I need to finish that. I have 3 episodes left, but I stopped at episode 97 because like that happened right before I went to like Whatnot and kind of backed away from my channel heavily.
Right.
And but I would just talk about mental health and things like that. And those were the ones that kind of went into the most planning. Like the ones on Friday, I would just press record and talk about. But I also, sit and think about how I'm feeling. What am I dealing with well in the week? What is going on in the world? What is going on in the community? So I think talking from the heart is the easiest thing to do, and also the hardest thing to do sometimes. So
I've caught a few of those, your Friday videos. I
Mhm.
think I remember one particular, I think you're out on your deck or
Yeah.
something.
hmm It
Do
was
you
just
have,
kind of like wherever I was, just more of a relaxed. And I like to be very open because whatever you see on camera is what you're always going to see in real life. I'm a very blunt, very real person, so that's just kind of how I am.
okay. So when you do those Friday videos, do you have like I know you don't have a script because you're just going off the cuff, but do you have like bullet points of things that you want to cover, or is it just more like
Uh,
flow of thought? Or
however, However I do a video is always just talking. Like I said, I just press record. I don't like to kind of rehearse anything. I don't like to do anything like that. I have speech problems sometimes. I say and just like this. I stutter sometimes, but to me, that's natural. You know, I'm not faking anything. I'm not thinking ahead. I'm not pre-planning anything. I recommend pre-planning everything because it makes your videos and everything so much more professional. But like I said, I just like to talk from the heart, and I like to speak what's on my mind, and however I'm feeling at the time is how I'm going to be feeling on camera. So
Definitely in this day and age, you can, or the viewers, they like there's two different types of videos people like. I mean, you either got the polished, highly
mhm.
edited, highly produced, and those are great videos
Yep.
and people love those. And then there's the people that just like the raw, uncut, unedited, let's go with the real, keeping it real, basically, video.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
and
I
there's
like a mix of both. I like a mix of both, honestly. Like
yeah.
DJ's in chat. If you watch his stuff, he's like 10 out of 10. Like some of the best editing I've ever seen, and I love that clean and flashy stuff. But for me, in a video, that just takes too long, so I push more of that into like Instagram side or doing like shorts and things like that. So
Yeah, yeah, DJ is the best I've seen out there for
okay.
editing on. I mean, the content's cool, and then the editing takes it over the top.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Um, so okay, you've talked a little bit about pushing it out to your chat groups and Discord. So, are there other ways that you communicate with your community? Do you use the community tab on YouTube very much? Or do you even know it exists?
I used to use the community tab, but YouTube, I know you're not watching, but if you are, the community tab to me is absolutely pointless because even if somebody posts on the community tab, I'll never see it because for me on YouTube, you specifically have to click on the community like tab to see what's on community. And I just don't. The thing I do when I go on YouTube is I immediately click on unwatched, and whatever's my unwatched feed, that's what I stay in. It doesn't clutter it up. Like I don't have recommendation videos because if you go on the homepage on YouTube, you have 50 different videos from stuff you're not even subscribed to. None of that stuff matters to me.
Okay.
I want to see specifically what, because dude, I've been subscribed to YouTube basically, like I've been a member on YouTube or a user almost the day it became an app. Like I think it was a few days or a few weeks after YouTube was created, I became a user because I've been a gamer my whole life. I used to watch nonstop gaming content, all that. So, but I use the unwatched thing. But the community tab would be great if it would just kind of filter in with everything. So it just kind of mixes up. But YouTube not being like Instagram or anything, they tried to be with the community tab, and in my opinion, I never even see it, so I don't even use it.
I know I see some of Mark's or from Legion of Comics. I see some of his
Hmm.
posts in my feed, and but that's on my phone. But I don't look at YouTube that much on the computer. All of my YouTube comes uh, content that I consume is usually done on my phone. So I don't.
Mine, mine's 50-50. Definitely 50-50. Laptop and my phone.
Yeah, I don't actually get to sit down in front of my computer until like 11 o'clock at night. So
Gotcha.
I'm away from the house for about 13 hours a day for my job. So
Dang, man, that's rough.
yeah, it pays well, but
Well, that's all that matters in the end, honestly.
yeah, yeah, we got a somebody says they know you.
Hey, Phil, my man.
um, all right. Has your process or okay? So how do you, since the YouTube or community tab doesn't work that well, how do you actually engage with your community? Or
So, YouTube chats are not YouTube chats, but Instagram chats are. I'm in too many Instagram chats, if that's what you would put it. But that's where I share everything out, what I see everything out, and then lately, the past like few months, Discord's been a huge thing. Like I'm in the Mark Spears Discord and everything like that, and just using the other platforms that aren't YouTube is how I share everything out.
okay, yeah, I'm in about four different chats on IG
Mhm.
for comics, and uh, I have my AirPods in during the day while I'm at work, and I have like
Mm.
the notifications on for that.
Mhm.
And that thing, when somebody finds a meme or a reel that they're really excited about, that thing just starts dinging in my ear. So,
Dude, I have all notifications off on my phone except like text messages and calls.
okay,
Like I get nothing. I get nothing. I'm in a habit of, every once in a while I'll go through and check all my apps and clear everything out. Cause like on YouTube, how I said I go to the unwatch tab. I'll just go through and the videos I want to watch, I'll just save to later. And then the few videos that I might not want to watch, I just hide and don't watch them. So I
right,
keep my stuff super clean and all that.
okay. And that's where, like earlier, you said you like to make sure everything's clean and prepared and that
Hmm.
complete package and all that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so, what type of tools, gear, or apps have made the biggest difference in your YouTube journey? Maybe
Hmm.
what type of camera, what type of software, microphone, or
That
none of the above?
That is the beauty of living in the day and age we live in. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is you can be a content creator with millions and millions and millions of subscribers, be very successful, and you're doing everything off your phone or a basic webcam, a basic mic, a basic laptop. You don't need, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Like I keep using DJ for an example, but I mean that's my dude, and that's who I see has all the nice equipment. So I'm going to use his as an example again. But for me, I have a DJI mini mic, which I love. That's what I use. It was like a $200 mic, and then I do everything off my phone because, like I said, we live in 2025, so my phone can record 4K, 8K, 60 frames per second, whatever I need it to do. So I record everything off my phone, and then I edit everything off my phone. I do almost 90% of my stuff through CapCut. So I just do
Okay,
the default. I have CapCut Pro, but it's so simple and everything and clean on the app that I just use all that. So for me, it just kind of depends on what kind of user you are. I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up with no technology, but then I grew up with all the birth of the phone. So I'm a phone kid, an iPad kid. I haven't really been around like computers or computer tech too much. So when I'm on a computer, I'm a way slower at editing and all that kind of stuff. So I do everything off of CapCut. But then on the back end of side of things, you can go all in. You can go absolutely all in. You can get the gear, the equipment, the fisheye lens. Like I said, Phil has amazing cameras. Like I said, I talked about DJ. If you just watch some of his setup stuff, he's got incredible equipment. But exactly, the best internet plan. I have phenomenal internet, so I can upload a video. It takes like 20 minutes to buffer and process in 4K, 8K because I have like high internet because of the gamer. But that's the biggest thing that like people don't understand is you can just use your phone. You can use any app and it's very simple and it's all about who you are, the content you're putting out and things like that. But then another thing people don't realize is if you watch some of these bigger guys and things, they're recording their video and then they're sending that video to a team of 15 people who
yeah,
are editing it like that's all they do is just constantly editing it. They're doing everything and then they're uploading it. So most of the big guys you see, all they do is not to say they didn't, put in the work to grind there, but most of them have an entire team, which I would love. That would make me, if I didn't have to edit my own stuff and I could just record a video and send it to me, even though my stuff's basic, that's still amazing. And they use like sites like Fiverr and things like that. So
right.
they have a whole team of people that are like making their social Instagram post, all their posts 24/7 and all that for them. So
Um, you said you use CapCut. Do
yes,
you do you use the do you use it on your computer also, or is it just solely on the phone?
I don't use not the only thing my laptop is for. I got a brand new laptop, and the only thing it's for is to watch YouTube and to click start auction on my whatnot shows. That's it. That's all it's used for. Everything else I run strictly through my phone.
Okay. Because I know that you said you had the Pro plan on the
Yes.
CapCut.
Hmm.
So I believe you can get the CapCut app on your computer too, and you would be able to see the projects that you have on your phone on your laptop, if that
Yes,
matters.
it's just like I said, for me, just I type like this with my two fingers. Like I just very slow. Like even when I was in high school, like I graduated in '08, and there was probably a 5 to 8 year span where I've never touched a computer because I'm an Xbox kid or a PlayStation kid. I'm a console player, so I never needed a computer for anything. And my phone is a computer in my hand, so I've never really needed a computer for anything.
Okay. No, I do use CapCut some
Hmm.
in my process, but I use it mainly to generate a transcript for my
Okay.
video because I take the transcript and I will drop that into GPT or Chat GPT
Hmm.
to help come up with some titles and descriptions.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's ChatGPT is great. I use ChatGPT religiously for hashtags.
Yeah.
Hashtags are my least favorite thing. Like if I'm making an Instagram post, if I'm doing anything, I love talking about the post, taking the picture and everything. But at the very end, where I got to drop 20 or 30 hashtags, it's the bane of my existence. So if I go on ChatGPT and it generates 20 hashtags for me, done. Love it. So that's
Yeah.
basically what I use it for.
Yeah. I mean, I like it for the titles because it's like trying to come up with that.
That too.
I
It's
mean,
tough
because
sometimes.
you've done the hard work, you made the video, but then
Hmm.
the thing you really got to focus on is making the package pretty, which is the thumbnail and the title.
Yes.
And that's the part that I find the hardest. So I use ChatGPT to help with that, and it will. I mean, YouTube is the second biggest search engine out there because it's owned by Google,
Yep.
and it uses SEO a lot, so like search
Hmm.
engine optimization. So you can tell GPT, watch this video and create me 10 titles for this video that are SEO optimized for clickability and spout them out.
Right.
And it does it
Yeah, that
based
definitely
upon what you
definitely helps. I
cover.
love chat or not chat GPT, but I was gonna say CapCut's template stuff. That's what I use for a lot of my shorts.
Okay.
That way you can use their templates and then you can clip things together and edit things a little bit cleaner and it just kind of speeds things up for me.
Okay. Yeah, I have not done much with shorts.
Yeah. I love it just because it takes what I want to show in a 10 or 15-minute video and I can film it and upload it in 5 minutes, if that. And instead of sitting down and filming, a video, then having to edit it, then having to upload it. So that's what I use shorts for.
All right. And you said the camera you use is your phone, which is the best
Yep, I
camera.
got the newest whatever S27. What, I don't even know, the newest S Ultra Android or whatever. I just
Okay.
just upgraded. So
And the best camera you have is the one you have with you. So,
100%, 100%.
and I know one thing I got to get. I for Christmas this year, I think I'm going to get a microphone.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally can't recommend these DJI minis enough. They're amazing. It's my transceiver just plugged into my phone, and then this is just clipped onto my thing. So they're
Okay.
they're phenomenal, and they got plenty of different options and all that kind of stuff.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. And I'm just
Mhm.
using a webcam on top of my monitor. Is
It
what I
still
use.
sounds good, man. It still
Yeah.
sounds fine.
Yeah, it's one of the Logitech high definition webcam. So
Sounds
we
just
spent
fine to
a
me, man.
we spent a little bit more money on that one. Um, so do you want me to go into the Instagram questions that I got, or do you want to do the what advice would you give someone?
We'll end with that. Do the Instagram questions
All right. So let me pull up the phone real quick. I was going to
because
see
I'm
if there's a way to show the Instagram questions on screen, but it didn't really couldn't really figure that out yet. So
gotcha. You might have to, because going into things like that when you want to throw up things or anything, OBS is a great tool for that. But it's tough. It's phenomenal, but it's like climbing a mountain. It's not hard once you learn it, but it's like going straight up on a roller coaster to learn it, and then you're fine.
all right. So first question from Cliff. What moment made you a Spawn fan?
what moment made me a Spawn fan? I've talked about it a couple times before, and when I was growing up in like elementary and everything, I was always like the preppy kid, the popular kid, and all that kind of stuff. But all my friends were like the outcast, whatever you want to call them, the emo kids, the nerds, the geeks, the people that nobody liked. I was like the cool kid hanging out with all them. I didn't like to hang out with all the popular kids because they sucked. They were snobby. They were rude. I'm a gamer, but I'm a nerd at heart. So that's how I always viewed myself in my friend group. And back in the day, everybody was always into like Spider-Man or Superman or Batman or whatever you wanted to do. So I wanted to, be different. Like I said, I was an outcast. I liked being on the edge, and I was very, very into horror as a kid. Instead of watching cartoons when I was a young kid, I was just watching Michael Myers and Jason and all that kind of stuff. I loved it. I loved film. So I remember like the first time I ever went into a comic shop. I forget if it's Spawn. I always mix it up. It's either 39 or 59, the iconic cover where he's got the Christmas sack on the back and everything, all white background. I went into a comic shop just looking for a comic, just any comic to buy because they were going to a comic shop. I went with them, and I remember that was the first comic I ever bought. I still have it to this day, and just flipping through it and seeing the horror and seeing the artwork. And then that's when I started buying Spawn, and just I basically was only reading Spawn for like the first like 2 or 3 years that I was collecting comics. Like I didn't even I knew about Spider-Man, of course, and all the other characters, but I didn't even check out any other comics. I was just strictly reading Spawn. So
Okay. Well, and that leads directly into this next question from Cliff. Did meeting Todd cause sexual tension or daddy issues?
it caused all of the daddy issues, I will say. And I'll give some context to that story. So the day before I met him, Paul in the 619, I linked up with him, and we actually we met at my hotel, and Todd was coming out of my hotel and getting like bombarded by people with like comics and stuff. He's in public. And that's the one thing that I really hate. Like if you're in public and you're enjoying yourself, sure, I might say hi or something, but I'm never going to come up to you and be like, "Hey, will you sign this?" or blah 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 blah. I just don't like that. I don't like that setting. And we saw that and walked away. And we go back to the convention. I go up to my boss. And I was like, "Oh my God, do you know who's staying at the same hotel as us?" He's like, "Who?" I was like, "Todd freaking McFarlane, bro." And my boss is like, "Yeah, I'm the one who booked his room." Like he literally, Todd reached out to my boss because last minute because he wasn't going to San Diego, texted my boss, and my boss has booked his room under his account. So I'm already freaking out. I was like, oh my God. So it was the last night I was there. And mind you, everything's insane lines. So I walked like 20 minutes away from the con, got pizza, stood in line for 2.5 hours for 2 slices of pizza. 2.5 hours because it was like some world famous shop. And I walk back into the hotel, and it's like 10:30 at night. I have a show at 11, and I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. And Todd is just in the hotel lobby by himself, like looking at one of the big like jungle displays that was in the thing. And I'm freaking out. I'm like shaking, fanboying. And I was like, this is it. I was like, I have to just say something because there was nobody around. There was nobody in the lobby. So I walk up, and I'm like a little kid. I was like, "Sir Todd," I was like, "Mr. Todd, Mr. McFarlane," holding my pizza like a little kid. And he turns around, and I had my RUP shirt on. He was like, "Oh, you're with RUPs," and starts talking to me. And I was like, "Yeah, that's my boss. I do everything for eBay and whatnot." And he's like, "Oh," he shakes my hand. He's like, "Thanks for booking the hotel." And I start talking to him. And I was like, man, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be in this situation. I wouldn't even be in the state if it wasn't for you. Spawn is everything. Like I had tears in my eyes. I'm a big softie at heart. And we start talking. We were talking for like 10 minutes, and I was like, "I got to get upstairs for a show here quickly." And I was like, "I don't have anything. I don't want you to sign anything." I was like, "Can I please just get a picture?" I was like, "That would make my entire life." He's like, "Of course." And he put his hand on my shoulder, and I'm just dying. I'm dying inside. So like, dude, like still like one of the top highlights of my life, 100%.
Oh, that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Does that happen? Has that happened a lot or any more with other artists since you've been employed with RUP? and this is my
It's
own personal
happening.
question. This is not
It
in the.
Dude, like there's so many stories. Like at New York last year, I got to hang out with like Bill Sienkiewicz all weekend, and then during San Diego, he saw me coming out of the hotel, and he like runs up to me and gives me a big hug and everything. And it's like Bill Sienkiewicz. Like there's all those interactions like that. But like Todd for me that's my Stanley. Like
Okay.
that's my icon. Like that's my Stanley. So and I even told him that I was like, you're my Stanley, bro. Like and it was just even talking about it, it's still like emotional because like I said, there's artist and then there's Todd because like for me, Todd just changed my life and Spawn has just influenced my life on such a different level.
Awesome. All right. And okay, this kind of answer you. I think you've already. How has Spawn influenced your love for comics in general? It basically is the genesis of everything, correct?
Dude, it's the catalyst of everything. Like I literally told Todd, like if it wasn't for Spawn, my love for comics wouldn't be what it is. My love for the genre, my love, like I have no idea. I have no idea what like my traction of life would be because, like I said, I've always been a nerd. I've always been into gaming. I've always been into a lot of different fandoms. But just being a fan of Spawn and enjoying those stories has made me found so many different creators, so many different other stories, so many different artists, and then not to mention all the friendships and all the community members and just everything that has happened in this industry is just beyond thankful. That's just basically what it comes down to.
So, is there a Spawn? Is there a Spawn video game?
Did the OGs? What was the one? There was one on the Sega, I think. What was it, the Sega or the PlayStation? It was like a side scroller. There's some older ones. But nothing substantial. I don't want no Spawn. I don't want no Spawn games. I want a Spawn movie. And that was the one thing that I literally kept saying in the back of my head the whole time I'm talking about him. I literally was like, don't ask him about the movie. Because it was the one thing I'm sure he doesn't hears a million times, and that was the one thing I didn't want to talk about. But dude, I love Spawn. We're getting an Invincible video game. That's good enough for me. I'm so hyped for that.
And what platform is that going to be on?
Everything, Xbox, PlayStation. It's like a Mortal Kombat side scroll like fighting game. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Kind of like or was it Injustice?
a little bit like that. Yeah, but it's just Invincible characters. So
Okay. All right. From E-Man, what are the pros and cons of buying followers? Or
of buying followers.
I guess you can or
So
I know Chris has talked about paying for promotions. I don't
So
know.
I look at this all the time, and that's interesting that he asked this. And so you can go look at somebody's video, and you can be like, oh, they have 50,000 views on this video, but 10 comments. That means to me, as somebody who went in and knows all the in and outs and who's done a lot of research, that means 50,000 people clicked on that video for 10 seconds and left. Like they might have watched it for 10 seconds, it goes to your view, but what's your average view duration? Is it 20 minutes on a half-hour video, or is it 30 seconds? But that's something I always look at as comments, like you get interaction, things like that. And when you buy, like buying followers is great, but it all leads back to that. So you can buy your followers and do all that kind of stuff and track your views up, but then you're still not getting any interaction. And to me, if you're doing YouTube and you're not interacting with people, if you're not there for the community, that is the biggest thing that is the most rewarding thing to me, is interacting with other people, interacting with the viewers, interacting with the community. And I look at it as a double-edged sword. It could be good, it can be bad. I really look at it. Shout out to Archie Comics. Saw you come in.
Hey,
But yeah, it could
Mark?
definitely be a double-edged sword, because let's say you do paid promotions for a month and you pump out 10 videos in those paid promotions. Each one of those 10 videos is going to be amazing, but then now you never do it again. Now you never do a paid promotion. Now the next month you put out 10 more videos, and now those videos got half of the views, whatever. And as somebody that talks about depression, anxiety, mental health, now you're going into, well, why didn't these videos do good? What did I do wrong? Now you're second, triple, and third guessing yourself when the only thing you did differently was, pay an extra $10 or $20.
Yeah.
So I think I think in certain situations, like if you were having like a big charity auction, like C3, the Comics Curing Cancer, events like that, you know how you can do like sponsored ads on Instagram or whatever. I think for if you're doing like a sale or a charity event or like a fundraising event, those you should use the sponsored tools and everything because you're generating money in the long term, you're raising money and everything. But if you're just doing it for the views, I don't really see the point in it.
Do you pay for any promotions with, or I guess with RUPs with
Uh,
whatnot?
Once in a while he does, but that's all through him, and it's mostly during like New York Comic Con and everything. But I mean, we get good enough traction as it is. I get anywhere from 50 to 100 people, but it's all about inviting people as a collaborator. I can invite somebody as a collaborator and get more views than somebody that spent, $20, $30 on a video.
Okay. I know that they're a new feature. I think I also just FYI between now and the end of the year, YouTube's got a lot of new stuff coming out.
I've seen
Feature
that.
wise, they have a thing now built in collaborations in YouTube.
Mhm.
So, like, say this particular live stream, I could going forward, I could put you as a collaborator on this stream, and it would then push this video to your entire audience also, which your audience is, even though we're in the same niche,
Yes.
we're still got different subscribers. uh,
So StreamYard, that's been the feature that we used to use on StreamYard. You
right.
could make somebody like the host and share the video out. But then again, you're creating more exposure. But then let's say 20 people are watching your video. Now you have 10 people on this video and 10 people on this video instead of all 20 people on your channel. Like
Right.
I would want all 20 people on your channel since I'm on your channel. I don't want to be generating the views from it. I want all that coming to you. So it kind of splits things up. So
Well,
again, there's
no, but
always pros and cons to everything.
here's the caveat then that YouTube's doing, like, all views and all that are going to the original owner of the
Oh, well then that
video.
just answers, yeah, and that would answer my question. So yeah, that would take care of
That is
itself.
what it says. It's that, like, it's like, I know you're not monetized and I'm not
Mhm.
monetized, but it said even like towards ad revenue and all that, it all goes back to the owner.
Oh, nice. I like that. I like that.
So, but that's a new feature they're coming out. They just did if you look in your YouTube studio, there's a thing about what's coming up in YouTube, and that's one of the things that's included in there.
I don't know if I don't even know how I got a part of it, but like a year and a half ago, they sent out like the YouTube survey thing where you get to test new features or
Okay.
whatever. And like once every other month, I get beta tests to the features. And like so on YouTube, like I can see sometimes they'll say like ask or like summarize the video. Like there's certain features that I can see that some people can't see. It just kind of depends on what the month. But every time I do it, I get like a $50 to $100 like cash voucher and stuff like that. So they're nice. They're
Well, that's
nice. It
cool.
only take yeah, it's just a quick survey, and 9 times out of 10, I'm not even using half the features, but I at least get to play around with them and check them out. So if you check your emails, they're always in your emails.
And then can you take that cash voucher and go buy you something nice from RUPs?
Yeah, I can just, it's like they give you a cash voucher that just goes straight into your bank account, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
It helps support your comic book habit.
Yeah, actually, I got to shout them out. ABX Comics and Games in Augusta, Georgia, like Mark, Legion of Comics, all them. That's my LCS. I've been using them for the past couple of years. So
Okay.
I get all my books from my online LCS. Shout out, I work for RUPs. I love RUPs, but we don't get enough variants or new books or covers or ratio covers that I need. So I do I've been with ABX for the past couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, I have my own online LCS that I have. That's actually local to me, so I actually
Nice,
know the guy. So he's my
nice,
channel sponsor, Ron's Comic Closet.
nice.
And if you use code I have issues at checkout, you'll get 20% off your first purchase with Ron's Comic Closet.
There
Nice
you
little
go.
plug
Plug
there.
yourself.
And then from Cliff, we got another Spawn question. Do you have a favorite villain from Spawn's Rogues Gallery, and why?
Definitely the Violator clown. Like he's iconic. Like just just really what put him over the top was the Spawn movie. And I know how cheesy and campy and all that kind of Spawn movie stuff was, but man, I forget who played the clown in the
John
movie.
Leguizamo.
Yes, but man, crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushed it. And that just brought that character to life on such another level. And he's been my guy. And he's been out of the Spawn book for a little bit because he's kind of like dead, not dead, whatever. But man, in that
I was
movie,
about to ask you about that.
yeah, he's dead, but not dead. Like he came back as basically a stronger version of himself, and he had a bunch of little minions and everything like that. But Spawn's kind of all over the place right now. There's a bunch of events going on, so we'll see. Spawn's a weird read right now. If you're not like fully reading all of it, it's hard to keep up with it, is what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I got like I bought Spawn 1 through like 4. I got like a couple others when I started or when I was collecting, but then I took a long break from comics, so I wouldn't know what's going on.
If anybody, 250 would be the like nearest jumping on point. Like if you go back to 250, that would be where I would kind of jump in at. Like 250 right around, or no 350. I'm sorry, whatever the newest milestone was, I forget. Dude, there's so many milestones, and now we're coming up to King Spawn 50 and Scorch 50. A lot of milestone stuff happening, but whatever. I think it was 350 was the newest stuff because everything reset. Like everybody lost their powers and everything, and then everything has went on from there. So if you want to start reading Spawn, that's what I recommend.
Wasn't Spawn 350 like the record for longest running indie comic book or something like that?
Yeah, and I think it was that issue that had, like I said, dude, there's so many milestone stuff coming out, and my brain has been basically just wrapped around the Mark Spear stuff the past few weeks. So that's where I'm all dialed in.
All right. And next question from Cliff is, okay, I guess we know you already collect Spawn comics.
Yes.
Do you have Spawn figures or merchandise? If so, what is your prized piece?
Ooh, the prized piece? Let's see. Shout out to Beckerman. So I love this. I got the little car signed Todd McFarlane. So I love that. But like the prize piece, bro, I love this. And this is a recent, all my original stuff is upstairs. Like growing up, I used to have all the original toys and everything. So I have a bunch of those still in box. But the newest thing is the Spawn Kickstarter, Medieval Spawn.
Okay.
This thing is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It has like 30 or 40 different attachments. So this is my probably my prize thing. Came with a comic and everything. And I'm in the process of changing rooms, but I'm going to be upstairs here in a few months or everything. But I got a few like Spawn pages, artwork, everything upstairs. But like when it comes to me, I collect everything. I collect toys, cards, figures, video games. Like I'm just a nerd, man. I collect everything.
Is McFarlane Toys the producer of the Spawn toys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was hoping so. When you said it was a Kickstarter, that kind of threw me off. But
yeah. He just so he does random. He's done a couple Kickstarters, and like I said, they're great. They're definitely great.
Okay. All right. I guess if you could recommend one Spawn story arc to a newcomer, which would it be and why? Would that be like the 350 or would that be?
No. You got to go older. I would say anything around like when Capullo was doing some of the first artwork, because that's so gritty and just stands out. Some of the splash pages stuff. Once you start getting above into like the 120s to like 170s, the story becomes super confusing and convoluted, in my opinion. Like even though those are the rarest ones to find, like the most low print ones, the story kind of branches out. But man, anything with like Capullo on the artwork and McFarlane writing, some of that early stuff was just so good. Like I have all the Spawn hardcovers and everything, and I flip through them here and there. But some of the newer stuff, man, it's Spawn's hard to read because if you're going to read Spawn, you have to read Spawn, King Spawn, Gunslinger, Scorched, All of the books kind of tie into each other besides kind of like Sam and Twitch and Misery and everything. So if you're going to read Spawn, you have to basically read the like 4 or 5 main titles all at once. It helps that they're $2 and $3.99. So thank God for that.
So they kind of X-Men the Spawnverse.
A little bit, dude. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't even read a bunch of it. But the one coming out is that I'm most excited for is Spawn 77, and it's McFarlane writing it, Mark Spears doing all the covers and interiors.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a pretty that's a dream team right there.
Yeah, and I'm Mark Spears fanboy, so that's like one of my goats right up there with McFarlane at this point.
E-Man want to know, what are the top 3 tips for being consistent on YouTube?
The top 3 tips for being consistent on YouTube. I always tell people, like I said, time is the most valuable resource. Find what works for you in your schedule first and foremost. If you can film on a Tuesday and upload on a Wednesday, do it. If you can film on a Saturday and upload on a Sunday, do it. If you can film or live stream at 10 o'clock at night and you want to do it, do it. That's how I look at things. Don't try and cater yourself around your audience. And then the biggest thing with consistency is, if you're going to upload, like I said, I used to be super strict, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, blah, 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 blah. Now it's like I use shorts to kind of fill that gap. If I don't want to put a video up, at least I throw a short up that day that still lets YouTube and the algorithm know that my channel's not dead. I'm still uploading content, all that kind of stuff. Then that builds into my video. And at this point, I'm only doing Friday videos. So every Friday I drop a video. It's called Freshing Friday. I pride myself on reading a lot of Image, a lot of independents, Boom Studios, Dynamite, that a lot of people might not be reading. So if you're looking for like different stories and things like that, that's what I try and show off the most. And then any variants and things I picked up during the week, I show off. But if you're going to pick a day and you're going to upload on that day, just stick with it. That's what I look at. Just stay with it. If you know it works for you, just hold that. So
For me, I think what'll work best, but I actually got to stick to it, for the pre-recorded videos, I probably need to like batch record the videos. Like
that's great, because Instagram, you can schedule post.
Yeah.
And I'll do that like, if I wasn't filming tonight, I would take like 2 or 3 pictures. Like for all of October, I'm doing a 31 days of Halloween horror cover challenge. So each day will be like, I'll throw it out. If anybody wants to partake, just find something from your collection and they're like that. But I'll take like 10 pictures, make 10 posts, and then that way I don't even have to worry about it. So that's the one thing I really recommend, is scheduled post. And when I record a video, I always, set it for ahead of time and things like that, set it and forget it basically.
And not like, I'm talking about like, do the raw recording, and then as my time allows, I can do the editing that I need to do and all that. So, because like I said, I'm away from the house with work for about 13 hours a day.
Yeah,
more than 13. So trying to come home and record later doesn't work.
It's stressful. Definitely stressful.
To keep my creative process going, I started doing a daily morning live stream
Nice.
where I'm doing the comic news recap of the previous day.
Nice. Whatever keeps you involved, and whatever. My biggest thing is, as long as it's fun for you, it's never going to feel like a chore.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that one like every morning at 6:45 a.m. Central Time.
Nice.
So, and then I was originally doing that one in the evening, like probably around 11, but it's harder to know when I'm going to get home. And then it's the preparing, and then not as many people are awake overnight. So it'll get maybe a little pop, and then it'll drop. And then YouTube won't feed it to people by the next time, because there's so many hours of content that are put on YouTube every minute.
Yeah. So just remember, man, sometimes those live streams, even though you might only get 1 or 2 people watching it at the time, it might be 2, 3, 4 months down the line that one of those might just pop off.
Yeah. So I'm just using it as a way to build up stuff. And then maybe when I do my next, I haven't done a pre-recorded since I've been doing all those live streams. I've done about
Okay.
2 weeks of those. So we'll see if it makes any difference when I actually release the live stream. But I have gained some subscribers from it. So we'll
Nice.
see.
That's all that matters, man.
All right. From E-Man, what's more important, um, aesthetics or delivering the content meaningfully?
I would say a mix of both, but it definitely 100% you're going to want to have delivering the content meaningfully, because if you're just having out there flashy, visuals, flashy edits, all that without any substance or actual knowledge, because the biggest thing for me is like if I'm watching a video, time is the most valuable resource. So I'm not going to watch a video for no reason. There's a couple things like I'm rewatching the old Yu-Gi-Oh series. So those are kind of like the meaningless videos for me. But normally if I'm watching YouTube, I'm trying to learn something. I'm trying to see
Right.
what comics are coming out or what games or blah, 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 blah. It could be anything, but I'm always trying to learn something. So that's what I try and do, and mindset I try and do with the content or videos. But if you're putting out content where there's no substance, nobody's learning anything, nobody's taking away from it, what are you really doing and why are you really doing it? That's how I kind of look at things. But at the same time, you still need to, we live in a day and age where you have people's attention spans like me. I have Snapchat brain, and those flashy edits and those flashy things, you could say nothing and I could still be entertained because that's how my brain works.
Right.
So like I said, a little mix of both for sure.
All right. Any tips for creators? Oh, this one will work perfect or good for you since you're the Collecting with Derrz, not just Comics with Derrz.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips for creators who talk about different content, i.e., comics, travel, or knitting?
So I look at, like I've said before, whatever you enjoy, put out. If you're into a bunch of different things, I learned from day one that you shouldn't really pigeonhole yourself. You shouldn't really niche yourself. Like, sure, it can help, but at the same time, even the biggest, I don't even know. There's so many comic creators out there. The biggest comic creator that has the most subscribers and the most everything is an absolute grain of sand in the grand scheme of things when it comes to content on YouTube.
Right.
Gaming, entertainment, reaction videos, sports content, all that. Comics would probably be at the very bottom of the totem pole when it comes to like what people are looking for on YouTube. We're a very niche market. We're a very niche community. And you look at guys like, you can go on to like guys like Comic Tom, for example. They have 150,000, 60,000 subscribers. And he's talked about it very openly that all the money he makes from his channel, he's just using to keep his channel going, the giveaways, the videos and things like that. He's not making any money from his YouTube. And those are guys with thousands and thousands of more watch hours and things like that. But when it comes to comments, don't view it as I'm going to blow up and go viral. I'm going to quit my job and this is going to be my job, because it's tough, man. And even in the comic market, even in the gaming market and stuff like that, it's like winning the lottery. I view it as, it's just kind of luck of the draw. But in the grand scheme of things, comics are a very, very, very niche corner of YouTube. So it's tough. It's tough sometimes.
I listen to podcasts and things like that about YouTube and basically tips and strategies. I know one thing that they've talked about on vidIQ is like if you're going to do, say, a comic book YouTube channel like we are, but then you also have a passion for cooking, don't put cooking content on your comic book channel because that's going to really just confuse everything. Just start a whole new channel to focus on cooking.
100%. That's why I show like toys and gaming and cards and things like that are all in the same like collectible atmosphere. Right. But I'm not just going to, like you said, start like doing random out of left field things like that on this channel.
Right.
That's how 100%. I would be definitely starting a new channel. But when I'm, collecting with Durrz or whatever like that, I made it known in the very beginning that I have a passion for a lot of things. And, that's why when I'm out, doing vlogs, I'm showing off action figures, I'm showing off different things or whatever like that, because most of us don't just collect comics. Like
Right.
that's just what it comes down to. Or you enjoy other parts of the hobby or other parts of the fandoms and things. So
In the hobby, like the character or the IP has expanded into other things other than just comics. So
yep.
if you're a fan of the IP in one area, you're probably going to be a fan of the IP in some other area.
Right. And for example, like the Spider-Man Magic the Gathering set, I haven't opened a Magic the Gathering pack of cards since I was like 10 or 11 years old. Now, because of Spider-Man being an IP, now you have guys like me going full into the Magic the Gathering realm, trying to, open packs. I love opening packs of cards. I just love ripping packs. But on the back end of things, hopefully, you have some people coming from Magic the Gathering coming into comics and vice versa. So it's always good for a hobby to have that, what is it? Cross brand exposure, I think would be the word for it.
Yeah. Well, like you just showed, you have a Hot Wheel up there that's Spawn related.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Does editing really matter? And this is from E-Man.
Again, yes and no. It just kind of depends. You can watch people out there that do no editing whatsoever, and they have some of the most successful things ever. It's just them sitting in front of a camera, podcast style talking, that's just very raw, and they have millions of subscribers. And then on the other side, you go to like somebody like, I don't know, like Markiplier, who's got like 37 million subscribers as a gaming channel, and he films his video, sends his video to people all over the world who completely take it hours and hours and hours to professionally edit it, do everything like that, then send it back to him, then upload it. So again, it's a mix of both. It's a mix of both. And I think it comes down to do what's best for you. If you have the time to sit down and edit, go ahead. If you want to learn that, I love learning about, I suck at editing, but I love learning it. In the past year, I've learned so much about different aspects of editing. I mean, I'm not great, but I'm definitely not basic. I could definitely, if somebody needed something edited or whatever they needed visual effect wise, I could do everything they needed me to do. So I love learning about it. But if you don't have a passion for any of that, just keep it raw. I like my comic raw, baby. Anyway, that's how we do it.
Editing's like slabbing it, making it pretty. And
agreed.
All right. So I'm sure I think we've probably covered this a lot already. The last question I got for you is, what advice would you give to someone wanting to start a comic book YouTube channel today?
Do it 100%. Don't be scared. Dive right in. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Just do it. Share yourself. Get yourself out there. The hardest thing ever, and even me, man, even right now, the hardest thing to get over is just getting used to sitting and looking at a phone, looking at a camera and talking to it and things like that. And then I also talked about it a little bit beforehand, because like I said, it's tough. It's like winning the lottery. You're not going to get rich. You're not going to do all that stuff. Sure, it can happen, but it's tough. So for me, from day one, I picked a path. You can either make money, go viral, put yourself out there, for the hobby, make friends, connections, all that kind of stuff. And for me, starting a YouTube channel, doing all that, I knew I wanted to make friends in the industry, friends in the hobby, connections in the industry, all that kind of stuff, because I always knew that's what was going to build the groundwork. And for the past, couple of years, I've just been making so many friends that I consider some of the best friends of my life, that I live all over the world, that I've, never knew up until the past few years. So I'm beyond grateful for that. But at the same time, we live in the day and age is you can just reach out to anybody on Instagram, send them a message. They might not message you back. They might message you back. But when I was doing YouTube and going to conventions and going all this kind of stuff, I was just networking and connecting. I love talking to an artist. I love getting books signed. At the same time, I would talk to them about myself, getting comfortable with all that. And then all of that sparked into RUPs Comics, because I was literally what started this whole thing with Whatnot and everything We have a 55,000 square foot warehouse with just over 10 million comics in it, like pallets packed to the ceiling. So that's our stock and everything. And we did a trade paperback sale, and I just went live on Instagram and had like 30 or 40 people watching, sold like 10 or 15 books to a couple of my buddies and everything. And then that's where the whole Whatnot idea came from and everything like that. And I wouldn't have even been able to, have that opportunity if it wasn't for, being on social media, networking with people, reaching out to people. And now, just like last night, me and John Boy Myers were talking for like 20 minutes. I can reach out. I have multiple, I'm not going to name them, but I have multiple personal phone numbers and contact information with some of the biggest names in the industry in my contact list in my phone. So like, that's like the networking and connections, and coming from like a gamer, it's so different in the comic industry. Like, you can reach out to some of the biggest names and they'll reply to you, they'll reshare your stuff, they'll do all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy. Like, I tagged Todd on that post and he commented on it and everything. Like, that's just what's different and so refreshing about the comic industry compared to a lot of different hobbies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Derrz. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on. It's been a while. Like, I was on a Paul on the 619 last week, but I don't get to do enough live streams. So I always tell anybody watching, if you ever want to hang out, ever want to collaborate like you did, man, I'm always a message away. My inbox is always open.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram or the DMs on Instagram is a great way to interact with people. And
I spend hours in it every day.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug or talk about? What you got coming up? Talk about your Whatnot. What's your Whatnot schedule for RUPs?
Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, like I said, I work with RUPs Comics. We are LCS in Fremont, Ohio. I do everything for like the social media, Whatnot, and eBay. And if you don't know, we actually represent Alex Ross and Bill Sienkiewicz. So if you ever see the giant Alex Ross booth at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, that's us. We also partner with Aspen Comics. So we have all the Michael Turner stuff and everything, and Ecos Comics. So we do everything for them. So it's a very high-end operation, all that kind of stuff. And then we're live on Whatnot Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We do have another seller, Paul, who's there Tuesday and Thursday. But if you like premium books, that's the kind of stuff we do. We do big boy, crazy books. We try and change the game. When it comes down to Whatnot, I treat it as just a hangout. It's literally like a YouTube live stream for me. Yes, I'm selling books and doing all that, but half the time I'm showing books from my collection, talking about books I'm reading, all that. That's the one big misconception that a lot of people don't have with Whatnot, is it's super laid back. And it's just a community, just like YouTube. Like, you have the same few hundred people coming every single show just to hang out and talk to each other, even though they've never bought anything from you. So that's kind of how Whatnot is. But if you want something crazy, man, come hang out with us during New York Comic-Con. And during con convention seasons, we like to break the internet, basically. So that's how we do things.
Okay, well, that's awesome.
But every Friday, if you like YouTube, man, Fresh Ink Friday. It's every single Friday. I show off my new hauls, go through breakdowns, show off what I'm reading. I know a lot of people do that, but like I said, I try and pride myself by having I have a very eclectic taste of what I like to read. So
okay. Well, so everybody, if you're looking for comics, go check out RUPs Comics on YouTube. Also, if you're looking for comic book news, please check out my live streams that I'm doing daily now at like 6:45 Central AM on Monday through Friday, a little bit later on Saturday and Sunday. But I recap the news or comic book news from the previous day. And then next week, my guest on Comic Channel Origins is going to be Brian LCS. So please be here for that. That'll be 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's what I have coming up. Hopefully I'll get a pre-recorded video out here soon. Try to batch some up. But Derrz, thank you for being here. And
of course.
Here is our thumbnail. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Stay legendary.